Episode 685 of the Two Dum Yinzers. We're back here this Titty Tuesday this morning to say hello to everybody and welcome back to the Two Dum Yinzers. On the show today, we have from right here in the Pittsburgh area, my good friend for many of years, Jeff Finch. How you doing today, Finch?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, my man. How you doing today, Derpy?
Beep.
Derpy from
I'm
the
doing well.
good. And Mike, also, my friend, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. I am just happy to be back today, boys and girls.
We got a lot of fun stuff today, and I'm not just saying that, guys. We have a lot of fun stuff. I got Derpy. Everybody's in today. I have a special event planned for later on this morning. Good morning, Jen on the board, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So Derpy is here. He's going to help me out. We're going to do something. I'm not going to reveal what it is till a little bit later, but everybody on the show will be involved, and maybe even some people from the board as well. But guys, let's get this day started. Let's start with some Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike, Finch, Derpy. Let me ask you this. How would it make one feel if their football team had no starting quarterback, losing their starting running back, and doesn't have a number 2 wide receiver, but you know that you have the 5th highest paid coach in all of pro sports? How would you feel if you knew that your team could certainly use a lot of improvement and but still at the end of the day, you want to make sure your coach is as paid as he could possibly be. Again, only 4 people in all of pro sports are paid higher than this man, but yet the results are just not what you would expect from somebody maybe paid that much. Guys, that's going to kind of be where I'm going to start today. It's so 50-50, and anybody you talk to, you could get a heated debate from anybody about how they feel about Mike Tomlin and what they think should happen with him. And some thinks that he's the best coach ever. Some people think that he's the worst coach ever. I mean, it's literally from one extreme to the other. But at the end of the day, when you can't afford to pay players to get a semi, I mean, come on, the offense wasn't in a good position last year. And depending on what goes on this year, I mean, I have a few ideas that might even throw you off even further once we get a little bit more down the road here. But guys, are we satisfied with not having any offense and our coach being the 5th highest paid coach in all of sports, not just football, but all across the major sports in the United States of America? Would you rather have players that you could pay more because they're on the field, or are you guys satisfied with the situation? And again, it's nothing like let's take money away from our coach. It's not anything like that. Just, topical issue. Would you guys rather have guys in those 3 positions, or are you content with your coach making only less than 4 other people in the whole country?
My coach, whatever he makes, it doesn't bother me because that has no bearing on the salary cap. So now what
It has bearing
bothers
on the
me
fans
is
because the team isn't doing what it's supposed to, but he's the 5th highest paid coach. So are you happy with the results you're getting for what we're paying
for
out
what
to
I'm
him?
paying for it? No, because the regular season results are quasi there, but the playoff results are not there. So it makes me upset there. And then the way they allocate resources on the roster, I'm not happy with, because like you said, the lowest paid offense in the league, highest paid defense in the league. You're getting more bang for your buck statistically from the offense than you are from the defense. I'm not happy there as well. So yeah,
Maybe perhaps like a new younger coach who's more with it, which is weird because Mike Tomlin was the younger coach who was with it. Is he getting stale? Is his time getting stale? Is it time to go for somebody who has that motivation that wants to come in with a whole new strategy and pay him less money, but maybe get better results?
Yeah, and I think so. I think that would be the case, because you see this in every sport. You see this where coaches are for a long time, even in college. It happens. Like, the message tends to get stale, especially at the pro level. Guys have been hearing it, the same speeches for year after year, and at a point, you got to move on. It got stale. Andy Reid got stale in Philly, had to go to Kansas City and find new life. It happens, and it's well past the time. I think we should move on, because the postseason success hasn't been there for 8 years now. It's time to move on. This should have been rectified 3 years ago.
And now it's beyond the point, guys. At first it was your typical bigots. I don't want this guy. He's no good. He's no good as Cowher. Now it's well beyond that. The bigots are forgotten. It is the average mainstream Pittsburgh Steelers fan that's starting to say, hey, guys, something just isn't adding up here. And as I said, as I found where he's positioned, I would expect a little bit better results on what he gets paid. But let me come to you, Finch. Finch, what's your take on this?
Since Mike got to talk for 9 minutes straight, he took all of my points.
I'm sorry, Finch. You can reiterate. Add a new spin to him. I'm sorry.
What would Mike Tomlin have to say?
That's why I'm well compensated.
That's why he's well compensated. The current money combination that the Steelers are dealing with now, with the high-paid coach, highest-paid defense, very low or lowest. It's the lowest, the offense, right?
It is.
Has proven for the last couple of years that it's not working. So which part of that equation do you change? Now, you can't affect one without affecting the other when it comes to the offense and the defense. But as Mike said, he took the point that the coach's pay doesn't go against a salary cap. So,
no, and again, but at the end of the day, is he?
But how does it look to the fan base? You mean you were saying?
And just in general, not even the fan base. I mean, would you feel okay getting paid, top money at your job if you weren't getting the job? Well, of course you would, because the money's coming to you. But if you're paying somebody out, and you're paying them,
we've had that payout ratio for the last couple of years now, or close to it, with the highest defense, lower offense, and the coach getting paid, big. And he had that big extension. 2 years ago is when they gave him that extension.
So, yeah.
It's proven for the last 2 to 3 seasons that it doesn't work. So it needs to change. And this is a year that you have a couple of big contracts possibly going away. You could change that and possibly maneuver and make those moves. The other problem is who's out there that we can actually get. It's not like you can just trade some rando on our team for Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? Like that becomes the issue there.
Finch, Derpy, I'm gonna come to you, but guys, I want you to think about this because I'm gonna get into the comments. But Derpy, I want to start with you on this. Let me ask you. Now, a lot of people are pretty much, they're saying, all right, well, is it going to be Russ? Is it going to be Fields? We're not going to find anything beyond that. Maybe Fields. We're only going to pay one of these guys. We're not going to pay both of them. We're probably going to bring Fields back. We already seen Russ. Let me ask you this. What if Justin Fields, there's 5 or 6 other teams right now that's showing interest in Justin Fields. What if Justin Fields doesn't want to be a Steeler next year? What if he wants to go elsewhere? What if, what if the run is over for him here in Pittsburgh? We like to think that we have these options, and we like to think that our quarterback situation could be better, but it could also be a lot worse, guys. Let me tell you this. There's 5 or 6 teams that's inquiring about Justin Fields. And, again, if that happens to happen, are we going to be content with running it back with Russ? Or are we going to, where do you go from here? Derpy, what are your thoughts on that? What if Justin Fields just simply doesn't want to be a Steeler next year? What road does that leave the Steelers on to continue forward, Derpy?
Then you run it back with Russ.
And you're okay with that, though? On one hand,
yes,
when Fields is in competition, you don't have much confidence in Russ. Is that just because, or is there anything outside of this that we could do? Again, as some people mentioned on the board, we're going to get to that in just a second. Maybe look at the draft, maybe look at a second-round quarterback. But again, at the end of the day, he's still going to be a rookie. Guys, let's get to the board. I don't want to leave anybody out. No. Good morning to everybody. Good morning. Jen, John, over-enthusiastic, Maud, Caleb. I'll get to that in just a second. Let's see who else we got here. Mark Malone. Good morning, Jen, everybody. Let's start down here with Mark Malone. Mark says draft, QB, running back, wide receiver, 1, 2, 3 in no particular order. Mark also says Rooney will never fire Tylen. He's sadistic, evil, old drunkard.
Allegations.
Over enthusiastic. Maud Caleb says, shipping with Arthur Smith. Don't ask questions. His Arthur's dad doesn't like questions. We are eating the Smith burrito. He will bring us Derrick Henry and Lucas style trade. Let's see. John says Jenny with the librarian glasses. I like. Everybody has been commenting on Jenny's picture in her glasses, and good stuff there, Jen. Also, Jen says, "Hey, John, I'm a bitch. Don't bother me. Look for those that don't know me. What do you think?" John says, "I like." Jen says, thank you. And then also, good morning to Yinzer Joe as well on the board. He says, I say let Fields go. He was in Chicago 3-4 years now. Hasn't progressed fast enough. I love his ceiling, but he's not reaching it. At least if we have Russ and fail, we could get our next QB in our next draft. DLW, good morning to you as well. He says, y'all want to draft a QB in this draft? No, we do not. There's no QB in this draft that I'm interested in. Maybe if you get a guy second, third round and just piss around with him. But in the meantime, he is not that guy. Nobody in this draft is that guy. Even if you get yourself a Cam Ward or a Shedeur Sanders, I still don't think that that's a fit for the Steelers anyway. But DLW, I appreciate your comment. We do not I don't anticipate we get our next guy out of this draft. I don't know where that came from, but over in Enthusiastic Mod, Caleb says we could go back in time and draft Jordan Love. Let me say real quick before I do pass it over to the guys, this is over Enthusiastic Mod Caleb. He is a moderator on our board now, so when you see him coming, shh. Let's get back to the show here, guys.
He's like a school marm.
So let me go back to you, Mike and Finch. You guys, what if Fields just isn't available? What if he decides he wants to go elsewhere? What are some of these other teams and these other, your New England's, your, let's see, I mean, the Raiders, there's so many teams that got brand new coaches that might just love. They just might love to have somebody like Justin Fields to start their, the way they run things. Finch, Mike, your thoughts? Justin Fields is not an option this year. Where do we go? What do we do, Mike?
If he's not an option, Sam Darnold, what's he going to cost you? Is Minnesota going to let him go? And if they're not going to let him go, do you call them up? Do you inquire about JJ McCarthy? I wouldn't, but you have to think. You have to do your due diligence. Would he be a fit for the team? I don't know. Then after that, in the free agent market, you got Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Jacoby Brissett, Tyler Heineke, Marcus Mariota, Drew Lock, Jarrett Stidham, that Jameis Winston, Mac Jones, Jimmy
That's
G.
a real who's who.
Yeah, it's a real who's who of, hey, maybe this can be a guy. Maybe
Jameis
this can
Winston?
be a guy. Yeah.
I don't hate Jameis Winston.
I don't love him either. You don't know what you're getting. One game you can get 4 touchdowns out of him. The next game you're getting 3 pick sixes out of him.
And he gets hurt.
Yeah, you don't know what you're getting out of him. Like
if you can get him cheap though for one season until next year when we could draft potentially a better draft quarterback.
Yes,
he might be a good fill-in for a season. He might get you something, win you a couple games, and be an entertaining guy.
Exactly. And if we're losing, I want to be entertained, and he would be the guy to entertain you.
I thought Russ was an entertaining guy, so he kind of filled that role.
But Jameis would be the other way. He was praying Jesus to deliver him from the pick sixes he was throwing. Those are the comments I want to hear from my starting quarterback if I'm tanking. And he would be the perfect.
I would be cool with him for a 1-year deal, or 2-year deal.
Your deal to tank to get yourself a better quarterback. Sign me up for the Jameis Winston experience.
1 minute, the moment Finch, you could reply. Also, let me just jump in here real quick. Jen says, do you think that if the Steelers have Justin Fields as a QB, they have to change the offense to his strengths? I feel like we have to change too many things for, it is a totally different style of play that he would be bringing. But again, at the end of the day, he went 4-2 with this particular style on this particular team with 10 touchdowns and 1 interception in those 6 games. So that kind of skews it a little bit and makes it harder to make that particular call. Jen says the Steelers will do it. Over Enthusiastic Mod Caleb says, hello. If y'all need any help, let me know in the chat. All right, sounds awesome. DLW says it's really interesting to hear the field detractors. When you put context to it, it becomes pretty clear. And yeah, Fields might leave. Also, I do want to say good morning. The Color Hoss, he says, yo, Jameis is not an option in my opinion. DLW also says people just forgetting the drops and penalties that plagued the offense early this year. Just forget the 50-yard rope to Pickens on the run.
Yeah,
Winston is a great backup. Keller Haas says no Winston. What do you say, Finch?
I think Winston's only an option if he's extremely cheap, the same way that Wilson was. We won't get that $1 million per the season deal or whatever it was, but he's an option, and I don't hate Jameis Winston. That's all I'm saying. I don't hate.
Do you think, guys, that we're in that boat that we know that we're not going to get our guy this year. We know that we're not going to get that guy that's going to take us to the promised land. So do you just keep kicking the can down the road and keep trying to find these dollar store blue light special deals to get us to the next level? And if that's the case, why don't you just go for lesser, try to get a lesser record and try to get a higher draft pick if that's what you're doing? Because you're basically saying, you know what, I know that we're not going to do well. I know this is not my guy. This is just going to kick the can down the road to maybe next year's draft, or maybe another free agent comes up that's an ideal situation. But so that's kind of where I'm at with all that, guys. Don't want to leave. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say, like, the kicking the can down the road and losing. That's what we want to do with this organization. They don't.
They want to kick the can down the road, and they want to be 500 or better.
Yeah, they want to have a chance to say, "Hey, look, we made the playoffs. We're being competitive." They don't want to commit to a rebuild, and like we said before in the show, you can't operate that. You have to be all in either way of trying to win or trying to rebuild to win, and they want to win. They want to do just enough to win. They think they can do it by the defense. We want to pay money for a quarterback. Where Rick, all the evidence says it cannot be done. You need a quarterback. Yeah, you can say Jalen Hurts. He's a system quarterback in there, but he's making the right plays at the right time. They have the defense. Like we said yesterday, this is what we are supposed to be, and they have the players to do it, and we don't right now. So we kind of gotta. If I'm in charge, I'm gutting it and restarting over. But this team, this franchise, they will not do that. And that's what's going to suck for a long time until we fall into our guy like we did with Ben.
You know what? Unfortunately, that's exactly the way the 80s felt. Yep. With Chuck Noll, the guy that won 4 Super Bowls, one of the great coaches in the Super Bowl history, he managed to have a terrible decade. So, is that just where we're at? We're just at the point where it's not our time. We have to go through these bumps. And you know what? It's not a lot of fun now. Yeah. Social media, you get to get online and talk to guys like us and people on the board. And now it's a different time. So it can be more frustrating. You don't maybe back then you'd say, okay, we stink. I'm not going to think about this for a month. But now everywhere you turn, there's Spiller Talk, there's Scoop, there's articles, there's social media, there's shows. So, again, it's a lot more difficult for people now, especially if you haven't lived through that 80s back into the 90s. So go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say for like the quarterbacks, like the expected value for 2 years for Russ Wilson is $38 million a year. The expected market value for Sam Darnold over the next 4 years is $40 million a year. Like if you had to pick one of those two,
right.
I'm going to go with Darnold. He's younger. He's looking like on the uptick of his career.
Right. Just like the Matt Murray, right? You go with the younger guys.
And see what happens. Right. So it happened there. Yeah.
So let's jump back on the board here, guys. Let's just forget about the misreads Field had in under center fumbles. Besides, I want more than 14 points a game. Very good point. Also, but if you have a number 2 receiver, if you have who knows? So again,
like you can't discount either of their arguments. What they're saying too, and you have to add in like more context, like everyone else is doing.
The more I'm finding out, Mike, we're not all so different. I think that we're all right. I think a lot of these problems are all problems, and we shouldn't split hairs because they're all issues.
Yeah, you do the Venn diagram, a lot of it overlaps.
Neil O'Donnell says Malone has the right idea. Draft 2 quarterbacks a year until you get your guy. I guess it's eventually going to work.
You know what?
Right?
I think you guys are going to talk me into this. Like the more I think about it, I'm like, oh, you know what? It's not the worst idea.
Hey, Neil O'Donnell, if you draft those 2 QBs a year, will Larry Brown return both of them?
Oh. DL Dub back at it. He says you don't have to change anything. It's just narrative. Winston is also a great backup. Keller Haas says, I don't see the Steelers ever intentionally tanking. Also, he says whether it's in their best interest or not.
Yep,
Mark Malone says, hallelujah, Neil O'Donnell. How about that? From one Steeler QB to another. Keller Haas says, is that a problem with the league, though, that the only way to rebuild is to tank? It's an interesting question. DL Dub says there weren't many missed reads, and the fumbles were on the center. He did it to Russ also. Again, Field scored 20 points per game. Sheesh. And finally, Yinzer Joe says Rush has digressed because of age, but does have valuable experience. He's not going to get the $30 million.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I think if whoever ends up giving him that money is going to be a stupid football team to begin with. It's going to be somebody who isn't any good, who has too much money and too much dreams on their hands. They're going to spend that money, and it's going to be like it was in Denver. It's just that's where I think Russ is in his career. John says it's like taking 2 chicks home from the bar. That's right. That's right. That's exactly what it's like.
Two
So I
chicks
mean
at
that
the same time, man.
yes. Two chicks from the
Find $1 million.
from the derpy gene pool too, no less. Guys, so
Oh,
let me ask you this. Is it necessary to move 1, 2, 3, none, maybe all of your 3 big money suckers on defense? Is it safe to say that we're not going to get to where we want to get if we continue on the same route, if we continue to pay Minka to not have any splash plays, if we continue to pay an aging Cam Hayward, if we continue, and again, an unpopular opinion, if or can we continue to have TJ Watt not show up in the playoffs and put up 0 stat lines for the last 3 of 5 game losing streak? I mean, at some point, you're having all these misfortunes, and you don't have a quarterback, and you don't have a wide receiver too, and you do. So, is it necessary at some point, guys, to have to send 1, 2, 3, maybe all these guys down the road in order for us to get to where we want to be offensively? Finch?
I would say 2 of them probably should go. You keep
this
one of
point,
them as that crafty veteran, you know what I mean?
And at this point, who's the one that you keep? Who's the veteran that Finch, the GM, keeps?
Mike's gonna say Cam Hayward, but
we'll let Mike, the GM, do his. But who does Finch? Who does
That's a
Finch?
joke. I don't know. Maybe, man, that's a tough one. I would say TJ probably you keep. He probably still offers more to the table than Cam and Minka. Minka's he has fizzled out completely. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I think you keep TJ, you dump a couple other guys, and use that money elsewhere.
It's almost like Cleveland in the sense that you're going to be crazy to let go your defensive star, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if the Pittsburgh Steelers let go of TJ Watt, not only in Steeler Nation, but I think all around the country, people are going to say these guys are nuts. Just because we see it a little bit different than they see the superstar every week on the highlights, but we see the guy play in, play out, play in, play out. So does that affect that as well? Or fans going to look at us and say that, just like kind of like Cleveland, you were stupid for letting Myles Garrett go. This guy, you build your defense around him. It's been that way for years. Defensive Player of the Year last year. You're stupid if you let this guy go, is going to be what people say. And do you agree? Do you agree with that? Do you think we're going to be stupid, or is it because we know what it is that has to be done here?
Yeah, you nailed it, dude. Like because we know that these guys aren't living up to their paychecks. If they got paid a lot less, we might give them a pass. Because it's not like they aren't playing exceptionally well. They're doing okay. The defense had a solid year. The offense let them down and left them out to dry on the field a lot this year, and it affected those statistics, those points, especially late in games. But a direct result. That is the direct result of not paying your offense and giving all your money to the defense. You know what I mean? It's too lopsided right now. We got to find a way to take care of it. Dumping a couple of big contracts on defense is an absolute necessity. Excuse me.
And I think
that's what they need to do. Yeah.
And this, guys, is bothersome. You need a quarterback. You need a running back because Najee's not coming back, Colorhouse. I think you're going to be happy. I think Najee, I'm going to guess the Raiders, but you know what? There's a million options for him out there. And you need a wide receiver too. Is it bothersome, Mike, that people now, on top of what we just said, though, the conversation we just had, is it bothersome to you that people are recommending and wanting to get a defensive lineman, albeit you could probably get yourself a pretty damn good first round offensive or a defensive lineman in the first round? Yeah. But Mike, with the problems we have on offense, is it crazy talk to even consider? But on the other hand, you need that move to eventually happen. You're going to want to get rid of Cam, the aging lineman. Yep. You're going to want a younger guy with younger energy. But on the other hand, if you do that, you're neglecting the other 3 things and beyond on the offensive side of the ball that has to be done, Mike. Is it bothersome that the defensive line is even an option for that number 1 pick?
Not to me, because you go back and you watch the playoff game and watch those last 4 or 5 games. What the teams do on us, run right up the gut, just right at that D line. and that just totally wore down that D, opened the passing game, opened up play action. So,
and if I could just interrupt you, because Jen also says the same thing. Jen says, "Yep, Jen is going more defense." But at the end of the day, isn't that why we're complaining, guys? Isn't that why? I mean,
I know it sounds counterintuitive, but like D line's also a huge need. I think it's just as big as a need as wide receiver too. We need beef there.
You know what? And I would agree with you almost 100%, unless we didn't really need those other things. We really, that's the thing. We really need a quarterback. We really need another running back. We really need a wide receiver.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking that Justin Fields, from what I'm gathering, I think he's the guy. He's coming back. Wide receiver, I think they're going to run it back with what we have plus Roman Wilson and look for a guy in the second round and then go D-line in the first round. And maybe by a fluke, if they can somehow land like a T. Higgins in free agency, then you're set. But that's a pipe dream. That's never happened. And T. Higgins is not going to come here. I think they're going to run back with the receivers that they have with a guy in the second round. If they think one of the D linemen in the first round would impact the overall team better than the wide receiver, I won't be opposed to it, but I would prefer the wide receiver in round one because I still think you can get a damn good D lineman in round two, but vice versa. You can get a good wide receiver in round two as well. But, I just think there's more value in wide receiver in round one than round two.
Back to the board. John, John says TJ isn't winning a ring with the Steelers. I wonder where Steeler Freak has been.
I know
he's usually the first one leading the argument for the TJ Watt argument. Also, Color Hoss says Najee got to go. Jen says we need to add Walter Nolan to the D line and let him learn from Cam. That's my pick. Mark Malone says, what's Tomlin's record without Watt since he's been here? You know what? You're right. I mean, at the end of the day, whether you think he's affecting the game that much or not, I'm talking about Watt, Tomlin, the team. I mean, just in general, the record is certainly not as good when he's not in the lineup. Keller Haas says trade for Myles Garrett, go all in on D, break the mold. Jen says, yep, going for more defense. Mark Malone says, yes. He says, we have 5 defensive linemen under contract already. And Mark Malone says, you can't win if you can't score. I kind of agree with that, guys. I think the offense should certainly be priority number one. I mean, what if we get another Ziggy Hood, is our number one draft pick defensive lineman. But on the other hand, what if you get another Casey Hampton?
And what if you get like another Troy Edwards in your first round and not a Santonio Holmes? So it goes both ways. But you said we got defensive linemen under contract, but an aging Cam Hayward, an aging Ogunjobi, then Keanu Benton. Then after that, Montravius Adams, Isaiah Loudermilk, Dean Lowry.
And I'm not saying don't address those.
Great.
I'm not saying don't address the depth of the defensive line. I just don't know if it's where you want to go at number 21 with all the offensive problems and things that you need. I just think there's way more issues, and we pay way too much money out to the defense. Let's give a little to the offense, try to build there. And if you have to lag in some areas on defense at some point, I think that's just going to be necessary. You're not going to be able to keep Cam, TJ, and for the rest of eternity.
Those teams ran the ball on us at the end of the year. We had no answer for the run games, and it just destroyed that defense even more. And you still got to be able to stop the run, but you also have to be able to score points. But I don't know.
In this league nowadays, I think I want to try the scoring the points route.
Yeah.
We've done this long enough, and I found out that to this point it's not working anymore. I'd like to try the scoring the more points idea. We'll see how that plays out, and we'll go from there. Guys, here's a name that just the other day, or just this morning, I seen the Rams seeking to immediately trade Cooper Kupp. I know that he was an idea around trade deadline time. I know that we need receivers. Mike, Finch, Derpy, any water held to the idea that Cooper Kupp may be a Steeler again? Just this morning, Rams seeking immediate trade on wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Will he be a Steeler? Can he be a Steeler? Would it work out even if he was a Steeler? Finch, what do you think about Cooper Kupp?
It depends on what we give for him. It's one of those situations, right? It would be nice to have him. It's good to listen to any offers, but at the end of the day, the Steelers, I don't think they're going to get him.
Mike, it's kind of like what Mike says is a pipe dream. You want this T. Higgins.
Yeah.
he kind of falls in that category as well. Cooper Kupp,
Yeah.
T. Higgins, he's in that group. I mean, I tell you what, if you get one of them, you're going to be in good shape.
It's worth listening to the offers, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
It's definitely worth talking to the other GMs about it. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, I just don't think that we're going to give up whatever these other teams are asking for in a trade.
Yeah, and he hasn't played a full season since 2021. But he still puts up pretty good numbers.
Great, though, when you see him play,
like 800 yards, 700 yards, 700 yards.
If we're not playing a full season.
That's like 17 touchdowns the past 3 years. That's like we've always said. That's the production you want from your number 2 opposite George Pickens. And then you add in the emergence of Calvin Austin. Okay, now you're seeing a nice little offense there. And then if you go first round, second round wide receiver, okay, that room's filled out. Then you got the unknown and Roman Wilson. Then you have a pretty good tight end group too. Now the offense is taking shape. I'm just trying to look up his contract real quick. He's owed almost $30 million this year and $27 million next year. If they get him, it would have to be kind of like a renegotiation of the contract. If they do that, and that can drive down the trade value of what we have to give back to the Rams. If it would work, I would do it. I'd sign him, and I would ship Cam Hayward out of town because Cam Hayward contract has no dead cap space. That's $22 million saved, and then you're flipping it to the offense, and then you can go D-line round 1. Since you got your wide receiver 2, get your next wide receiver in round 2 right there. So it makes sense on paper, which means it's not going to happen for the Steelers.
On the board, let's see. Good morning, P. I'm glad to see you, my friend. He says, Steelers have the cap room. Why not? They do. They have a pretty impressive cap space. John says, can't win the Super Bowl with the Make-A-Wish offense. That's very
exactly.
True. You can't even get out of the first round with the offense that we're putting out on the field. And then Neil O'Donnell says, Malone is speaking the truth, my brethren.
Yeah, we have $43 million in cap space. That's before any cuts that are going to happen.
All right, guys, it is the halfway point of the show. I want to make this announcement. That's right, for the 7th straight year. 7th straight year. Yesterday, we went over the different kind of fans from around the league and who they were, the angriest fans, the best fans, best traveling guys. This also came out yesterday. Pittsburgh is it's the 7th straight year as the best city for football fans amongst all the fans around the land. Pittsburgh, 7th straight crown as best city for football fans. So pat yourself on the back, everybody. No matter what they say about us, it doesn't matter. We are always going to be black and gold, bleed black and gold. So, and you know what? There hasn't been a time in a long time that Pittsburgh Steelers fans hasn't been considered some of the best. As I said in the show yesterday, Mike, have you ever heard anybody ever leave the city of Cleveland saying that was the best city they've ever played in? Those are the best fans they've ever had. I'd never heard a player say that ever in my life about not even Bernie Kosar would even say that about the city of Cleveland.
No. And real quickly, the Steelers, back to the cap real quick, they can save almost $13.5 million by releasing Preston Smith. So they have a lot of money that they can.
Preston Smith should be somebody who they should be considering.
Just let him go. He filled in nice here, but we can find another cheaper veteran to be that backup outside linebacker, or maybe even a young guy in the draft.
Yeah. Around the league, guys, some new coaching. Of course, every year you have coaching changes. The New England Patriots, they hire Mike Vrabel, Pete Carroll to the Raiders, Brian Schottenheimer to Dallas, Liam Cohen to Jacksonville, Aaron Glenn, the New York Jets new coach, and Ben Johnson in Chicago. And again, we talk about just some names, maybe some younger, inspired coaches. Any of these guys seem like anybody that would have been in interest to you had we been shopping for a head coach over the past month or so, as these other teams were? Is anybody? And we always say, I mean, what are you going to get next? Say you do send Tomlin down the road, and you're. But what are you going to get next? You're going to get better. You're going to get worse. You're going to get any of those names seem like anybody that would have caught your interest had this been a month ago and these guys were all still available.
The only one that brought me excitement would have been Ben Johnson. It's because of that offense that he came up with in Detroit. That was a huge part of their success. The way he revitalized that offense and the way he used all those receivers. And my God, to have that kind of offense in Pittsburgh, the it's such a modern day offense. It's a sight to see. He would have been the only one that would have taken. Mike Vrabel, he hasn't won anything anywhere. He's gone. Pete Carroll, he had that one good. He had a nice little run in Seattle. But what's he have left? And did anyone see the press conference with the new coach at Jacksonville when he was like Duval? Like that does not inspire me to go run through a wall for a guy.
Hilarious.
Like none whatsoever.
I tell you what. Jen says none of them names caught her interest. I didn't think anything really stood out to me either. Neil O'Donnell says they'll release Preston Smith for sure. Over enthusiastic Maud Caleb says I would have gone Doug Moe from the Denver Nuggets. P says I don't know the Jets. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say at least we don't have the Denver's GM as our GM. Jesus.
P also says this is a good segue into what I want to do next. Here, guys. P says gonna sell hella cup jerseys in Pittsburgh. Last of the white wide receivers. Well, what I wanted to, I do have a little rebuttal, and I waited. Where can I slide this in today's show? But P, I appreciate the segue, guys. This is Black History Month, and I do want to talk just briefly about some of the names in the NFL. That's been some interesting names over time. I have a list, guys, of the most interesting names, and a lot of times, I'm going to give you a hint. You have Kool-Aid McKinstry. You have Chop Robinson. So, a lot of times, a lot of black guys, they do have interesting names. And I have a list of the most interesting names in the NFL in the present and the past. You guys want to take a listen to some of these names?
Yes.
All I'm picturing is that the Key and Peele skit with all the guys with the weird names.
Jaquavius.
I can't wait. Let's go.
Right, here we go. So this is for Black History Month, guys. Here are some of the most peculiar names, I'd say, in the NFL. Here we go. Kool-Aid McKinstry, of course. Chop Robinson. How about Storm Duck? Storm Duck, the cornerback rookie for the Dolphins. Storm Duck. Storm Duck.
He played at Oregon.
Is that a Disney character?
You're right. Yes, out of Oregon. Also, you got Bump Cooper. That's
a porn star.
DJ Glaze, the rookie offensive
tackle
out.
That is a great name
for the rookie out in the offensive tackle out in Vegas. And DJ Glaze. Let's take another look here. How about, of course, Clinton Dix? I think Clinton Dix has always been a fun, interesting
Clinton
name.
Dix, baby.
Barcavius Mingo. Barcavius.
Oh, another Browns terrible draft pick.
Here's a guy that used to be a Steeler, guys. You might recognize this name, Guy Wimper. Guy Wimper, interesting name. So it's not just the first name. Sometimes
he pronounces it Guy Wimper.
I was going to say, is he a French Canadian forward for the Penguins?
All right, another interesting black name over time, guys. I think you will recognize this retired New York Jet, DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie, DeBrickashaw. I wanted the Steelers to draft DeBrickashaw Ferguson so bad, just so we can say DeBrickashaw.
One of my favorites ever, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. I always like Ben Jarvis Green Ellis's name for whatever reason.
Damn good name.
Fair Hooker, retired Brown. He's a retired Cleveland Brown. Fair Hooker. Everybody remembers this quarterback, of course. This is White Geigen. It doesn't matter. We go across all the lines here. John David Booty. Always, I thought was a funny name.
Well, LSU quarterback, I think.
Was he LSU or was he USC?
I can't.
I think he might have been USC. Earthwind Moreland. He
isn't it Earth, Wind, and Fire, baby.
That's not him, but yeah.
But close. He's a tribute to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
How about, let's see, Frosty Rucker. He is a retired defensive end from the Raiders. Frosty Rucker. We all remember this guy, Ben Gay. Gotta have Ben Gay. No one else. General Booty, quarterback Oklahoma Sooners. General Booty, interesting name. Hercules. Yeah,
baby.
Hercules Matatafa, defensive end, New Jersey Generals, plays in UFL.
Second cousin to Simba and Mufasa.
John says Fair Hooker always made sure satisfaction. How about this guy? He is a fullback for the Bears. No, he's a retired fullback for the Bears. My bad. Bronco Bronco Nagurski.
Bronco Nagurski, man. There's a name from the past, man. Woo.
How about Rock Ya-Sin, Mike? Rock Ya-Sin.
Rock Ya-Sin, cornerback for he was on the Raiders for a while.
He's in the Baltimore now. Rock Ya-Sin, R-O-C-K.
Yeah, he was a good. He thought Steelers would draft him years ago.
To reply to Neil Dawn on the board, Finch actually did a special video on Dick Shiner. It's funny you actually brought that up maybe about a month ago. Maybe
it was about Dick Allen, but
oh, that's right, it was Dick Allen.
Dick
we
Allen.
brought up Dick Shiner. Never mind.
Yeah.
What else we got? John David Booty. No. All right, we're down to the last page here, guys. Of course, Sauce Gardner. Sauce is always a good name.
I love that name.
Jake Butt. Jake Butt. B-U-T-T. Jake Butt. He's a retired tight end out of the league. Champ. Of course, everybody remembers Champ Bailey.
Champ Bailey. Beast. He's a beast.
And you know what's weird? Because they actually have Troy Polamalu's name on here because it's not even it's become such a household
Polamalu.
name. Yeah.
Like, what about Tim Biakabatuka?
You know what? Biakabatuka is a really good one.
Christopher Fuamatumafala.
Fu. I forgot about Fu. Yeah.
When I was like a freshman in high school when Fu played for the Steelers, and he was a player that everybody liked. Like he was okay, he would get some yards. I had this one kid named Mike who was in my class, and he was just like a clown, right? Funny guy, good dude, and he would just walk around just saying Christopher Matumafala. Christopher Matumafala. And then he started using it in places of the word MFer. So he'd be like, oh, that Mafala said this, or these Mafalas did that, dude. And it caught on. Like a lot of people were saying it. And to this day, I still, in my head, once in a while, I'll pop out of Fumatumafala.
All right, so guys, here's what we're going to do. Time to switch up the direction of things. We're going to give somebody a chance to be the person that gives Derpy the match of the final matchup of the week, guys. We're gonna have somebody go against Derpy from this room, from the chat room, for the Super Bowl picks this week. And if they win, they also have a chance to win something. Of course, Derpy's playing for Permani Brothers. I would say let's do that for everybody, but again, there's not everybody's not from right here or has Permanis near them. So here's what we're gonna do. If you could have two participants, and this is how we're going to do it, guys. We're going to get two people. Mike's going to play for one of you. Finch is going to play for the other one of you. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have a challenge. We're going to ask questions. And if Mike is your guy and he wins, you then this weekend play for the opportunity to play against Derpy and to bet against Derpy for these for the Super Bowl picks. It gives you a chance to win a great prize. Again, I was going to go some Permani Brothers, but it's not local or convenient for everybody. So we will certainly get something to you if you do beat Derpy, which is the big challenge. But first, getting past the round today. So what I'm going to need is I'm going to need two people. Who wants to participate? Anybody. If it's John, if it's P, if it's Neil, if it's Jen, whoever it is, I just need two people on the board. And the way I'm going to do this, guys, I'm going to think of two numbers between 1 and 100. And if anybody's close, whoever's closest to the numbers that I pick, you will then be able to play today. One for Mike, one's going to be with Finch. And Finch and Mike again. I'll explain more as we go on. So if anybody does want to be a contestant, anybody wants to have a chance to go against Derpy this weekend to win something big here on the show, just put any number on the board. Between there's Phil the Steel. What's up, my man?
Oh, he come out of nowhere.
What's up, my fella?
So all you got to do, guys, P, Phil, over enthusiastic, Neil O'Donnell, Roger, Keller Host, anybody the whole way down the list, Jen. Guys, just throw any number up. I see a 73, a 75. The two people closest to the two numbers that I pick, guys, between 1 and 100, will pair up with the guys. The guys will then today play for you. If that person wins for you, you get a chance to bet against Derpy this weekend for an even bigger prize. So again, throw numbers up on the board. I'm looking for the two numbers I'm going to write down.
While you're waiting for the numbers to come through, I got to step away for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, you're good, man. Go ahead and be best time now. So let me pick my numbers here. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do okay. All right, so anybody that's closest to these two numbers will be participating. And now here's what we're going to do today. Mike,
Yes.
so Derpy, what I'm going to need from you, Derpy, are you alive? Derpy, find a pencil and a paper. Find a pen and a pad. Find whatever you can find, but I need you. You're going to be the official scorekeeper, okay?
All right.
So what happens is I'm going to ask the guys a question. When I ask them, if I say correct, you mark them down for correct. If it's incorrect, you don't mark anything down and put, you know how to keep score. You do it for your high school football team. I'm very confident in you. So Derpy, so get something together while Finch is taking a dump and while I'm explaining the rules here. And I do see a bunch of numbers already here on the board. So let me just see what over enthusiastic Maud Caleb says. He says, I already beat Derpy every other one-on-one. So give someone else a shot. All right. I do have a bunch of numbers up here, guys, but I'll still give you a few more minutes if you want to throw in some numbers. Throw them up there.
Feel is still Derps can't even find a battery.
And we're gonna try to get everybody the opportunity here. So if you do want that shot again today again, either Mike or Finch will be playing for you. But if they win it for you, you go on to face Finch for a bigger prize again this weekend for picking the Super Bowl. I got a bunch of numbers up so far. Phil got his number. P got a number. Roger, Yinzer, Joe, Jen, Keller, Haas, Neil O'Donnell. John says I picked JP's shoe size. Anybody is interested, do put your numbers up there. I have 2 numbers written here, and the 2 people that are closest will get a chance again. So here's what we're going to do, guys. I am going to give you a list of something that you're very familiar with. I'm talking about Finch and Mike. And we're going to go down the list, and you're going to answer the question. It's real short. It's real sweet. There's some that you're going to know very easily. There's going to be some that you don't know at all. But we're going to go through that list, and whoever at the end has the most correct answers, their player will go on this week to face Derpy for a bigger prize in the Super Bowl pick. Again, Derpy is playing for Manny Brothers. You know what? It's not even going to take that long, Color Hoss. Let's get this show started. I have 77. I have 69, 70. A lot of high picks here I'm seeing, guys. It was between 1 and 100. I chose, my numbers were this, 51 and 14. So the 2 lowest numbers here are going to be a go, which looks like it's going to be Keller Haas and Jen with a 49 and 43. Keller Haas, Jen, Mike, pick one. Don't matter which one, just pick a name.
Jen.
Keller Haas. All right, so Jen, Mike's going to be playing for you. Keller Haas, Finch is going to be playing for you. And and Derpy, do you have your score sheet ready?
Yes.
All right, so Derpy's ready to go. And this is the subject. Super Bowl 43. Super Bowl 43. The Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now, to make it even more difficult, I'm only going to be asking you the numbers of players on that particular roster. Some you may know, some you're not going to know at all. Some are guys that you probably forgot even lived. So
I got you, Jen. We got this. It's in the bag.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read down through the Steelers roster from Super Bowl 43. I tell you what, Caller Host, if you get hung up and you are busy, we'll certainly make sure we get back to you on things. But this is how we're going to roll. I'm going to start. Finch, we'll go first. We'll go first for you. And what I'm going to do is give you numbers. Do you want to do numbers or names? I guess I could go either way.
I guess I don't care.
All right. Let's just go with the numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a number from the player from that team. You give me the name. I say correct, incorrect. We move on. Derpy. It's going to be kind of we're going to be continuous. So just stay on top of the score. All right, guys. So here we go. We're talking about the Super Bowl 43 team, Steelers over the Arizona Cardinals. Here we go. Starting with Finch. Finch, number 16.
Charlie Batch.
Correct. Mike, number 23.
No idea.
Incorrect. Tyrone Carter. Finch, 25.
Ryan Clark.
Correct. Mike, 74.
Max Starks.
Incorrect. Willie Colon. Finch, Finch, number 44.
Oh. I don't remember.
Incorrect. Najee Davenport.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Mike, number 2.
Jeff Reed.
Incorrect. Dennis Dixon. Finch, number 93.
Don't know.
Incorrect. Nick Eason. Mike, number 79.
79. Oh, God. Kimoyatu.
Incorrect. Trey Essex. Finch, number 51.
51. James Ferrier.
Correct. Mike, number 50.
Oh, Larry Foote.
Correct. Finch, number 54.
Oh, shit. Nope, I don't know.
Andre Frazier. Mike, number 22.
22. Oh, God. No idea. No.
Incorrect. Willie Gay. Finch,
Big play, Willie Gay.
Finch, number 98.
Oh, that's big guy. Big snack.
Big Snacks,
Casey
man.
Hampton.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mike, number 92.
James Harrison.
Yeah.
Correct. Finch, number 62.
I have no clue.
Incorrect. Justin Hartwig. Mike, number 76.
Marvell Smith.
Incorrect. Chris Hoke. Finch, number 10.
Number 10. Santonio Holmes.
Correct. Mike, number 99.
Kiesel.
Correct. Finch, number 68.
Oh, man. I should know it. I don't know. I can't remember.
Incorrect. Chris Kiyomatu. Number 90, Mike. Number 90.
No idea.
Incorrect. Travis Kershke. Finch, number 4. Finch, number 4.
Number 4. Nope, don't know.
Incorrect. Byron Leftwich. Mike, number
He's on that
37.
team.
37?
Yeah.
Dangerfield.
Incorrect. Anthony Madison. Finch, number 20.
I don't remember. Eric Keegan.
Incorrect. Bryant McFadden. Mike, number 34.
Veron Haynes.
Incorrect. Rashard Mendenhall.
Mendenhall.
Finch, number 83.
Heath Miller.
Correct. Mike, number 21.
Ricardo Coakley.
Incorrect. Mueldy Moore.
Oh, God.
That's a name.
Here we go. Finch or Derpy, we're halfway through. What is the score and who's winning?
6-3 Finch.
Okay, here we go, guys. 6-3. Let's continue. Who had the last one? Mike?
Yeah.
All right, Finch, number 39.
Nope, don't know.
Incorrect. Willie Parker.
Oh.
Mike, number 43.
He was on that team.
Yes. Mike,
43,
number
Palomalu. Palomalu.
Correct. Finch, number 3.
Jeff Reed.
Correct. Mike, number 7.
Big Ben.
Correct. Finch, number 96.
Don't remember. No.
Incorrect. Orpheus Roy. Mike, number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Incorrect.
Number
Daniel
9.
Sepulveda.
Oh, my God. He was the
punter.
Finch, number 73.
Don't know.
Incorrect. Kendall Simmons. Mike, number 91.
Aaron Smith.
Correct. Finch, number 77.
Marvell Smith.
Correct.
Yep. We thought that he was going to show up at some point.
Mike, number 89.
89. Jay Reamersma.
Incorrect. Matt Spaeth.
Oh,
That-
the Spathinator.
Yeah.
Finch,
Big
number
ass.
72.
Don't know.
Incorrect. Darnell Stapleton. Mike, number 78.
No idea. No
Max
idea.
Starks. Finch.
Fuck.
Finch, number 24. Finch, number 24. Yeah.
Nah, I don't know.
Ike.
Incorrect.
Ike Taylor. Oh, I should have known that one. Yeah.
Mike, number 94.
Timmons.
Correct. Finch, number 26.
Deshae Townsend.
Correct.
Bastard.
And now we are down to the last few. Let's see. Here we go. Mike. That's where we're at, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, number 86.
Hines.
Correct. Finch, number 60.
60. Don't know.
Incorrect. Greg Warren. Last two. Mike, number 85.
85?
Yes.
Reamersma.
Incorrect. Nate Washington. And finally, Finch,
yeah.
number 56. Number 56.
Lawrence Timmons.
Incorrect.
Woodley.
It's Lamar Woodley.
Lamar Woodley.
Right.
Duh, yeah.
So that is complete, guys. We have completed the challenge. Derpy, you are the man with the answer. How many? Let's start off with Finch. How many points did Finch have?
9.
Finch had 9. Interesting. But you know what? Mike really made a run too. So I don't. All right. Finch got 9. Derpy, how many did Mike get?
Baldilocks with the score of 8.
Oh, close. So that gets the win. That gives the win to Kellerhorst. Kellerhorst, I don't know if you are with us. I do know you're at work, but I do want to say you are the winner. You did win this particular challenge. So now you are going to be going up against Derpy at the end of the week on Thursday when Derpy makes his pick for the Super Bowl, his official pick. You will also, Kellerhorst, have the opportunity, if you beat Derpy, for a big prize as well. Derpy, we're trying to figure out how much you win at Permanis. And Kellerhorst, I do know that you are you're in Western Pennsylvania here as well. So maybe the Permanis might be what we have up for Kellerhorst as well. If he does win, we'll figure that out between now and then. But again, Thursday, congratulations to Jen as well. Mike did play very hard. Again, 9-8. That's a pretty damn good game. Could have went either way, but congrats to Kellerhorst. We'll talk to him on Thursday as he goes head-to-head with Derpy for big prizes going into Super Bowl weekend. I'm excited. Great job, both of you guys. I got to tell you, a lot of these, it's hard, especially 15, 16 years gone. And some of the names that aren't the names that are right on the top of your head. They're not, your Bens and your Troys. Those ones can become difficult. Your number 60s and your, 73s and things like this. But nonetheless, the guys did a really great job, as they always do, and as much as I suspected. So great job, guys. Great job, Derpy. You did an amazing job. You're like the guy at Fenway Park that puts the numbers in the big green wall.
I tried, Jen. I tried. I failed. I let you down. I'm sorry. Only thing I'm going to say, I was keeping score as well. It's because I don't trust Derpy. I had a score of 10-8. So I think we might have to go back and check some of Derpy's
in favor of me, right?
In favor of Finchy, yes. I think we might have to go back and audit some of the high school scores that you've been keeping track with there, Derpy.
Go back and look at Ohio's high school statistics and see if any of them are right.
Your players
need a recount.
Some of your players are missing points there, bud.
Gotta watch out for those hanging derps.
Yeah,
hanging derps. That's right. But yes, Kellerhorst, congratulations, my friend. I do see you as well.
Boom.
And Jen, I do say congratulations as well for making the effort. Your guy certainly tried, believe me. Finch just edged him. So we will talk to Kellerhorst on Thursday here on the show. We'll see how he fares against Derpy. I got to say, Derpy is consistent at best or at worst. Look at this. What's the chances? Over enthusiastic Maud Caleb says, I want something as consistent as my life as Derpy's fire alarm. Derpy is consistent at picks, guys. I do got to give him that. Let's move forward, though, a little bit. This is where we are in the show, unfortunately. Guys, this is tonight. The Penguins are back in action. They'll be hosting the New Jersey Devils. That game is at 7 o'clock p.m. If you're into the Pens or you're starting to get into the Pens mood because football season is coming to an end this weekend, just keep in mind your Pittsburgh Penguins is, they're not playing great, but they do have 15 picks in rounds 1 through 3 over the next 3 drafts. I know hockey drafts aren't quite the same and quite as exciting as maybe a couple of the other kind of drafts are. But nonetheless, 15 picks in rounds 1 through 3 over the next 3 drafts. Mike, is that going to help this team sooner or later? Or again, hockey's hit or miss. You either get that guy or you don't. How do you think that this is going to play for the Penguins? 15, number 1 through 3 picks over the next 3 drafts.
It can help them in the immediacy, even if they don't use those picks to draft players, because like I said, man, that salary cap is having a big bump, and where the Penguins are, they have their big guys locked up to nice contracts, and teams looking to dump salary of good players. You can use one of those firsts, one of those seconds to get, a couple pieces to the puzzle to bolster the roster for the here and now and make one final push with this roster and still have picks available to rebuild that pool so that next wave will be ready to go. This is some smart GMing going on by Kyle Dubas.
All right, the Birds, everybody. Pay attention. The Birds. Hopefully we can get this team back on track, back on their skates, if you will, for the next couple of seasons. Of course, they have been playing pretty bad hockey the past 2 years. Also, the Pitt Panthers, they take the L last night to Virginia. They lose 73-57, dropping their record to 14-8. Finch, they get their rematch. North Carolina Tar Heels, who the Pitt Panthers have beat 4 times since 21-22. The rematch this Saturday at North Carolina at 4 o'clock p.m. Finch, does Pitt sweep North Carolina, or does Carolina get their win at home?
Hail Pitt.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Also, guys, Combine is coming on the 24th of this month. So what do we got? About 3 weeks till that. The NFL Combine goes from the 24th till March 3rd. That'll be coming up. And, of course, Super Bowl 59 this weekend between the Eagles and the Chiefs. After the Combine, we'll be getting more into draft, free agency, all this kind of fun stuff as the offseason never really ends. So football season does go 365 days a year. That's why we love it here on this show for sure. Let's see what else we do got. I'll get into that when we're done. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The Dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. Especially, remember, like I say, if you're new here, check it out. We're going to have all our social media links. We got the merch, blog coming back after the Super Bowl. So, yeah, check it out, man. People are still checking it out every day. I appreciate it. So, the Dumyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. All right, guys, it is time for trivia. Mike, Finch, Derpy, put on your thinking caps, everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here is your Super Bowl trivia question of the day. Guys, they're all going to be Super Bowl questions for the rest of the week. Again, some may be Steelers, some may not, but it will certainly test your knowledge of Super Bowl history. Guys, here we go. Question of the day. On the topic of Black History Month, which I do say Happy Black History Month. This question, guys, is about Black history in the Super Bowl. Here we go. Who was the first ever head coach to win a Super Bowl, guys? Who was the first Black coach to win a Super Bowl? Take a minute to think that over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day, Monday through Friday, right here on YouTube. All right, guys, question of the day. Who was the first ever Black head coach to win a Super Bowl? Derpy, you know what, Finch, I'm going to start with you today. Who do you think was the first Black coach to win a Super Bowl?
I feel pretty confident that it is former Pittsburgh Steeler, Tony Dungy.
All right, interesting choice. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
All right. Derpy, I'm going to come over to you. Who was the first ever Black head coach to win a Super Bowl? Finch says Tony Dungy, confidently. A few of the guys feel Yinzer Joe, Roger, over-enthusiastic Maud Caleb. Derpy, who was the first ever Black head coach to win a Super Bowl?
Tony Dungy.
Tony Dungy. Is this your final answer?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is that your beeps finally? Is that your fire alarms
Yes.
finally?
Oh my God, you two with the beeps.
All right, so both of the guys, Mike, they both said
Jesus
Tony
Christ.
Dungy. Every single person on the board said Tony Dungy. Mike, I'm going to come over to you. Who was the first ever black head coach to win a Super Bowl? Mike, who do you say?
Tony Dungy.
Going Tony Dungy as well. All right, locking you in place. All right, guys. The only, or I'm not the only, incorrect. Who was the first ever black head coach to win a Super Bowl? Everybody says Tony Dungy straight across the board. In 2007 against Lovie Smith. So at the end of the day, who was going to be the first?
Yep.
You guys all got it right. Tony Dungy, former Pittsburgh Steeler, is the first ever black head coach to win a Super Bowl. So great job to everybody. Congratulations to Tony, of course, for everything. Dude, he's one of my favorite guys. If you've ever seen that picture where him and Tom Brady are standing there, they're all real big-eyed. And the quote was something along the lines of, why does it look like Tom Brady and Tony Dungy just poisoned your drink and they're waiting for you to drink it? Did anybody ever see that meme?
Yeah, I know the one.
I cry every time, dude. They're just so hysterical. But there you go, guys. Tony Dungy, yes, the correct answer. Coach, great. You know what, Finch, you and I, literally, I know for a fact that we hung out the night before that game.
Oh, yeah?
The night before, yes. I know for a fact, and I have a reason why I know, which I'm not going to get into on the air, but we hung out literally that Saturday night.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here today, guys. Also, I do want to ask, how did everything go last on Friday night for you guys? I know you guys had a few issues the week before, Finch, on the Two Cranky Jagoffs. I got to watch the show. I liked it as always. I thought you guys had some interesting topics. How did everything go? Okay?
It went pretty well. The setup and everything seems to have cured. Everything breaking kind of like made it possible for me to make everything new again, I guess I could say. It's like the computer's running great now. And so it makes it easier that when things are running well for me to set things up well and to be more confident in what's going on, and I can just talk instead of like worrying about things.
Okay.
So yeah, it worked out pretty well. We just kind of winged it a little bit. But we had a decent show and it was fun, and
I enjoyed it as always.
Yeah, I didn't get to bust Timmy's chops quite as hard about Jaden Daniels as I wanted to.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Well, that was the universe's way of saving his ass, because we all knew that you were going to jump on him for the Jaden Daniels win
my goodness,
prior to. All of a sudden, the computers mess up. Now you can't, and then you get back to the next week, and he's already eliminated from the playoff.
We didn't get to record a lot of our conversation. As we're waiting for things to set up, he's like itching to talk, so he starts spitting stuff at me about this and that. Right. And finally, I just went off on him. I'm like, dude, Jaden Daniels, asshole. Dude, he had a great game. It was awesome. But, yeah, he got me back. But I yelled at him a couple of times on air with the newest episode, and kind of. Here's the thing about Tim. If you haven't picked up on it from the show, Tim over the last 20 years has changed his favorite teams in all the sports multiple times.
I've kind of been picking up on that.
He's one of those guys, right? And he gets picked on heavy, like on Facebook, by his friends for it. So right. I am not going to let up on him. And when he says shit about, oh, my team's got to do this team's got to do that, I'm like, dude, you had a chance to pick a really good team, and you chose the fucking Bears, bro.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't know him like you do. Of course, you grew up with him, but from what I know, and I've been friends with him on social media for some time, he's been a Bears fan as long as I've known of him.
5 or 6 years, probably.
Okay, yeah. So there's been other teams prior to that then?
Yeah, he grew up in high school, he was a Raiders fan.
Okay.
And the Raiders were pretty good at that time, A lot
of people were in our time for whatever reason. I think that was.
And then he won't admit it, but he was a Patriots fan as well, and because he would really root on the Patriots. His excuse is, "Oh, I wasn't a fan. I just hate the Steelers, and they were good against the Steelers."
Right.
That's his. I'm like, no, you were a freaking fan. He was a big Tom Brady fan. He sucks.
All right. Yeah, I gotcha.
But
John says traitor. Also,
yeah, he's a traitor. He hates Pittsburgh sports, but he's starting to like the Penguins, and it's because he likes lovable losers. That's his thing. That's his thing. Lovable losers.
Yeah, the team that's won 4 Stanley Cups.
Yeah, all the Stanley Cups.
12 years or something like that.
Still have 2 of the greatest players of all time on the team currently.
Yeah. Roger says Steelers are one of the first teams to start a black quarterback. That is true. Mike, what about you? Anything we started getting ready to wrap things up for today, dude?
No, I got nothing, man. This was a great show, man. It was fun.
My thing is this. What was the most? And you may or may have not seen this, and I didn't even see it, but I seen it. I'll put it to you that way. Kanye West's wife, when him or girlfriend, whatever he is, when she showed up on the red carpet on Sunday night for the Grammys, what was the most interesting thing about her? Was it the fact that she was entirely naked? Is it the fact that she doesn't even come off as a real human being? Or is it the fact that they weren't even invited? Kanye and his old lady just shows up on the red carpet, her ass naked and everything. You know how it went. They weren't even invited. What's the most bizarre part of that whole? There was so much about that. And again, I didn't watch the Grammys. I seen this, and like I said, the one. I mean, she's entirely naked. Why even have that thing over her? Yeah. Maybe just to say you had something on. Two, again, that personality. Unless he just, she doesn't even seem human. She seems like something that Elon Musk is working on. And then again, finally, the fact that they weren't even invited. What part of that whole thing was bizarre? Most bizarre to you, Mike?
All of it. Like, it's just like, I can't unpack it. You can't separate one from the other. It's
right.
The whole combo. There's like, like some weird, like controlling stuff, some humiliation fetishes.
It's
going
very
on.
bizarre.
There's so much to unpack. I like stopped thinking about it because I was going down a rabbit hole. I did not want to go down. I'm like, no, I'm out.
Derpy, what about you, my man? Anything before we start getting ready to wrap things up for today?
Beep.
My scorekeeper. There
Boom.
you go. Words from the wise.
Boom.
Boom. Boom. That's what we've been missing. Boom. 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 That's what we've been missing. Listen.
I got some news.
What you got?
Sad news, actually.
Oh God.
Tiger Woods lost his mom today.
That's sad.
Well, way to bring the show down, Derpy. We've been having a great day. You had to go.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
One of the greatest golfers of all time. His mom just died. Thanks, Derp.
Such a stupid thing to say.
Jen said at least Tim hates the Packers. Yeah, everybody hates the Packers, I think. You know what? People didn't hate the Packers here in Pittsburgh until Super Bowl 45. Now everybody.
I always hated the Packers. I always hated Brett Favre. I hated Sterling Sharp. I hated everything about
I like the whole
Packers.
thing. They did the Lambeau Leap. I thought that was really cool because
I hate like their thing.
The fans.
Is the because you played Madden back in the day, and the Packers were good in that game. They had that stupid go Pack go every time they had a fucking play in that game. I've hated the Packers ever since then. Fuck the Packers.
Hey, Grid on Gridiron. Great to see you. Good afternoon. And also I do want to say this. Yes, do check out Mason Crosby retired today. Grid on Gridiron saying Mason Crosby retired.
He's still playing in the NFL.
Micah Hyde just retired.
Yeah, I saw Micah Hyde.
Mason Crosby, the dude from the Raiders? No, that's Max Crosby.
That's Max Crosby.
Oh, that's okay. That caught me for a second. But yes, do check out Finch's show every Friday night, 9:30, right here on our network. The two cranky Jagoffs Friday night, Finch and Tim. They talk about a little bit of everything. Very fun. I enjoy tuning in every Friday night. I also want to say congratulations to Kellerhaus for his big win today, and for Finch for his great job, and Jen and Mike as well. And Kellerhaus will be taking on Derpy Thursday for the Super Bowl picks to win some great prizes here on the show. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well.
The kicker, guys.
What's that?
Yeah.
Mason Crosby, the kicker.
Oh, the kicker. Yeah. That's right.
You kick for the Packers, right?
Yes.
Yes. Matter of fact, I thought it was I thought he meant Max Crosby. That would have been a big shock. However, not so much for the kicker. But thank you. We do definitely appreciate the scoop. I do want to say thank you to everybody as well for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. I do want to say thank you to everybody on the board as well. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show, always. And everybody at home, thank you so much. Mike and I will be back tomorrow. Finch, you're in Friday. Derpy, you're in Thursday. We'll see who makes it in today or tomorrow. I'm sorry. But nonetheless, we will be here tomorrow for the Wednesday episode. So we'll be here at our regular start time. Do come hang out. Check us out. We will be talking Steelers. We'll be talking a little bit about this Pens Devils game tonight. We'll also be talking about what this Pittsburgh Steelers team has to do moving forward to fill a lot of these holes that we did talk about in today's show. Again, we're finding there are more holes than we initially thought here on the Steeler team, and a lot more tomorrow at our regular time. So do check us out. Again, we do thank you so much, everybody. Anybody else, anything before we do wrap it up? Speak now, forever hold your peace, Finch. Derpy.
Hello, everybody.
And there you go. I do want to say thank you one more time. Again, congratulations. Congratulations to Collar Haas. That's going to be a lot of fun. Again, Thursday, he'll be joining us to take his picks with Derpy. Besides for that, I do want to say thank you to Finch, Derpy, Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two Dum Yinzers.